Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This debate was horrible. Absolutely terrible. The moderation didn't help, but I said yesterday, the past few days, I thought it was going to be horrible, and there was going to be a bunch of filibustering and these debates. I'm about done with these debates. They're just miserable to listen to. Four hours of going in circles because Andrew and Candace barely know shit about guns, crime scenes, legal procedure. That is true as well. That is true as well. But even then, it's like, at least if you structure the debate and force a timer on it, they can't keep filibustering. Like Candace Owens kept just talking about nothing, like just talking past each other, not answering the question. At least put a timer on it, structure the debate a little bit so they could move to another topic or something. Do you see the rabbi talking like a total psycho? No, I didn't see it. Normified Goy Slop Special 2026. Yeah, basically. And then all of Candace Owens supporters say she won, and all of Andrew Wilson supporters say he won. I mean, Candace Owens. Well, why didn't Andrew Wilson just say, obviously, you got a bunch of views off of this, you kept it going because it was a grift? Why can't you admit that? Like, you got to at least bring that up because Candace Owens' obsession with this conspiracy is heavily based on the fact that it's very profitable for. Hey, man, what's up? Chuck, what's up? You ate a whole hamburger hot dog? Some french fries. Hamburger, hot dog, french fries. That's a big meal. Normally, I just eat one or the other. Do a video on American Revolutionary War battles. I think there's people that can do better videos on that than me, let's just say. Favorite food? Burger. I already answered that a few days ago. A burger taco? I never heard of that. That does not sound very good to me, honestly. What do you think about Trump talking about the USS Abraham Lincoln and the economy being only good for Wall Street? He's giving the Democrats a lot of ammunition. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if if anything Trump says is really going to matter in the grand scheme of things. It's more of the actions of the presidency. But yeah, he's tone deaf. I mean, he's been a billionaire for how long? He's been rich his entire life, so he's going to be tone deaf. And at this age, at 80 years old, yeah.
At Sam K and 7 VF tip $5 through Super Chat. Imgo
Says I'm gonna goon while I wait for my DoorDash order containing slop. High status 2026 man. Yeah, thank you for the donation. I don't know, man. DoorDash is gonna run you a special. I mean, you get DoorDash, it's a minimum $20 for any meal. Minimum $20. You're probably paying. That's why kids, they talk about things. Yeah, if you get DoorDash, it's gonna cost a lot of money. I used to get DoorDash a lot. Well, maybe only like 3 or 4 months during the election. It is very convenient. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you don't have to go out or anything, but then you got to worry about the people bringing the food, and then sometimes they have a smell to them. So I don't do the DoorDash anymore because I don't trust people, and I don't want to have their smells or anything like that. Do a video on the scrapped Soviet mega project, Northern River Reversal. That's intriguing. Yeah, I'm intrigued by mega projects, unfinished projects. Yeah, I mean, I understand as a moderator if you're PBD letting them talk, but there has to be a structure for the debate. I mean, this entire thing, and maybe this is just because I'm tired today. I mean, I woke up, I only got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But this entire thing these are just, especially Candace Owens, just a genuinely miserable person. Like, you have to be paid $300,000 to debate, and then what do you even debate about? You're just talking around each other. You're not even actually addressing the points. Like, why didn't they just play Candace Owens a video of Tyler Robinson jumping down from after presumably shooting Charlie Kirk and say, what do you think this is? So you think this is somebody else and this was all staged? Why liberals love Soviet Union literally stuff. Well, they love the Soviet Union because of communism. They don't care about his racism. They look past it. Look at Marx's racism too. It's obvious with any of those 20th century figures. Soviet Union was the greatest country to ever exist. Really, is that why it collapsed? Because of its horrible economic system? You know, the Soviet Union literally just collapsed on top of itself because of communism. They got in one Middle Eastern war, its economy couldn't handle it. Did you see how public schools in Texas are doing field trips to mosques? That's terrible if that's true. Was anything accomplished sound like a lot of petty insults? No, there was nothing nothing was accomplished. They didn't even talk about topics that really, I mean, it's like you got to pin these people down on specific points and it was a poorly run debate. There was no structure to the debate. There was no timers to where one person could talk for 1 minute, then the next. You have to do that. Otherwise, one person just drags it on and on and on. And then even PBD is talking to Candace Owens like midway through the debate. Like, what are you even talking to her about? He's like questioning her like it's this big thing. And it's not even like a worthy topic. It's like it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things, and I'm sure she would love to talk about it. It's obvious Candace Owens didn't want to actually talk about any of the crazy theories she had. She was very uncomfortable when Andrew Wilson started. It's like, this is the entire point. Candace Owens, like 1/4 of the way through, is like, well, you know what? The debate is already kind of over. And now you're just, yes, this is the point now, is to question you on these ridiculous claims because you've been spreading them because you want to make more money. That's what he should have told her. It's like this woman needs to hear this. But he didn't even say that. It's like, you've been grifting this thing because you're making a lot of money off of it. You look at your top 3 or 4 live stream videos, they all have Charlie Kirk in the title. I wonder why that is. No, that's just a coincidence, I'm sure. You're not actually grifting off of this, I'm sure. But Andrew Wilson just comes out and is so weak, and it's like, dude, you literally paid this woman $300,000, and what are they even talking about? Like, where are when are you gonna actually... You can get this woman on a lot of stuff. She's lied many times just because she's obsessed with money. It's so obvious. The reason this Charlie Kirk conspiracy has dragged on this long, or has drug on this long, is because of the profit incentive. So call her out. You're only paying her $300,000 to do a fucking debate. Like, this is why I don't like these people. You think Wilson underestimated her? I don't even know, honestly, what to say about it. It's like, how do it's almost a non-debate where they just talk past each other. And Candace Owens, when somebody does that strategy, you guys should understand this. About a fourth of the way through, Candace Owens said, well, this is now not a debate. Now it's a conversation. When they say that, that means they're scared to debate. They're scared to debate the other person. When they say, oh, but this is a conversation, it's not actually a debate now. Like, didn't they call it the debate of the century or whatever, the great debate? Somebody was telling me, they're like, this is the most important consequential debate outside of a presidential election. I was like, really? Really? You're gonna hit me with that? Uh, yeah, that was it. That I can't lie about that donation.
At SamK and 7VF tip $5 through Super Chat. She pulled the depressed Ginger 2023 Titan grift.
Really? That was an interesting time. I have no clue why those videos did that well. You haven't watched the debate, have a feeling it's going to be a waste of time. Yeah, and honestly, the only reason I watched it was because it was on at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And so at that time, it's like, what else are you going to watch? But it was really a waste of time. And I had said that it was probably going to be really bad, and people were looking forward to it in my chat, but just look at clips. Yeah, I mean, even the clips are kind of. Is there even a memorable clip from this debate? Like, this is a really weak debate. This is what debates have turned into. What do you think about Asmongold and his suspension? I don't know about that. That's Twitch, and I don't know. I don't think he said anything bad or anything, so I don't know. I'm not sure what he said. Twitch is one of the weirdest ones. They'll suspend you, but you're suspended for like an hour. Like, seriously, how many of these streamers? It's like, ooh, he gets banned, and then they unban him in an hour or a day. So what's the point of banning? I swear it happens so many times on Twitch where it's like, so and so, bitch boy streamer 21 gets banned. Okay, he's done, and he's back a day later. Oh, then how is he banned? Do you think Wilson had to pay PBD what to host it? I don't know. No, I think PBD probably just wanted to host it for the clout. Joe Rogan offered to host it. Honestly, and this is nothing against PBD, but it's just not, he did not do a good job of structuring the debate. I don't think it would have mattered, to be fair to him, because I had said coming into it that Candace Owens was going to do this and they were just going to talk past each other. But another person in the chat did make a good point. They just have such little knowledge on any of this crucial stuff in terms of like how the process of gathering evidence works. And so you would figure Wilson would be able to research that and say, no, this is the reason, this is the process, this is what they're doing. But like the 30-06, I don't understand that argument. I've seen YouTube videos of deer getting shot with a 30-06 and the bullet doesn't go through them. So I don't understand that argument to where it's like, oh, because the ballistics it's splintered, that means it can't be a 30-06. You were like, why did they pick PBD to moderate? It was bad. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if Rogan probably would have been better just by default, but what it should have been is, at least if they would have done timed, you can force the people to go through, hit a certain number of topics, and it doesn't drag on to where it becomes boring and monotonous for the people watching it. Oh, you watched the whole thing? I probably watched 2 out of the 3 hours. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch a lot of it. Maybe like 2.5. But the other thing is they're doing these commercial breaks. This is how big of a joke. So Candace Owens, she has to stream it, and she's got like 100K viewers. She's got to get paid 300,000, and then they've got to have breaks because they need to get all their advertisements. And PBD's like, "We're gonna take a 3.5 minute break." He said it like 5 times, and then 10 minutes later they come back. Okay, so maybe it's not a 3.5 minute break. If it's like 10 minutes or 8, it was a long break. I mean, out of these people, I think Candace Owens is a bad person, honestly, or at least just a clout chaser and somebody that's obsessed with money. Andrew Wilson, I don't know what to really say about Andrew Wilson. I don't have anything against him, but I thought I thought he should have been more aggressive. PBD, I don't know what to say about PBD. Yeah, people are just always going to say it's a conspiracy because they want to act like they know more than other people. It's like an in club when they believe a conspiracy. But especially this, I mean, the one thing I will say about the Charlie Kirk thing, it is pretty crazy that he did put that with that text message. That is pretty crazy. But I don't believe the Israel conspiracy, but it is kind of insane that he did, because I thought that would have been a fake text message or something. It's almost too good to be true. Menect. Yeah, that crap thing. The Menect is just like, what's that website when people pay you to read messages and stuff? Well, did you see PBD was shilling shoes? He's got like new sneakers or something. Did anyone see that? He's got like new shoes or something. Like, dude, come on. Cameo, that's what it is. Yeah, Twitch. I mean, in some cases, yeah, Twitch, that is true as well. Did you see all the bot accounts? Candace has thousands of them. They were saying the same thing. Oh, the YouTube chats are just, it's those YouTube chats, they move so fast, I don't even think it matters, like. But yeah, there's got to be a crazy amount of bots. I mean, YouTube purges subscribers. You'll lose a bunch of subscribers randomly because there's so many bot accounts on YouTube in general. Luigi Mangione was found guilty, or he pled guilty. He pled guilty, I think, is what it was. Yeah, what a joke. All those women truthers. They're like, he's actually innocent. It was somebody else. They're like, the unibrow doesn't match. Remember that? And then he pleads guilty because he's a coward and he wants to get a lighter sentence. You wonder if the debate will hurt Andrew Wilson's reputation? I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where the Andrew Wilson fans are going to say that he won for sure. So I don't think it's definitely not like, well, he got embarrassed. It's not like that, but that was never going to happen. I mean, it's basically Andrew Wilson just questioning Candace Owens. Yeah, I love how Candace Owens, like, a quarter of the way through is like, wait, you're just going to ask me questions? Yeah, that's kind of the point of this debate. You've been saying some crazy shit to make money off of Charlie Kirk's death, so I'm going to ask some questions. I'm only paying you $300,000. What if he said that? Wait, you're asking me questions? Yeah, that's kind of the point. Why don't you go back on your Egyptian plane? I don't even know if they talked about that. The Egyptian planes. He only raised 73K. I mean, you're asking normie people to crowdfund that. I mean, come on, dude. And this woman is making so much money on top of that. She hosted the debate on her YouTube channel. It got 100,000 live viewers, and she was doing ad reads during it. And now we got to have normie people crowdfund for Andrew Wilson $300,000 after this subpar debate. All of these people, I just. Exploding mics. Well, she had no clue. Did you know she was like, he was like, so do you think he got shot? And she's like, I think a projectile hit him. I would be like, honey, what are we doing? Okay, you think a projectile hit him. What do you think? A flying saucer nailed him? I mean, this is silly. This is silly, and the grift needs to stop. And you need to grow up. You're a grown woman. Stop with the fake fairy tales because you're making money off of it. Grow up and be honest with yourself. Yeah, maybe a paintball or something. I think a goy beam got him. Maybe a goy beam came in and got him a laser. It's possible, man. I don't know, man. I didn't see it exactly. You know, the wind. You remember the wind from the shirt? I mean, the wind, man. That's a goy beam. Why did Trump give planes to Turkey? I don't know. Turkey's a NATO member, but I don't know why he did that. Yeah, the platform, like the surrounding area. The video was honestly wild, though. Never will we forget it. And you grew up watching Gorvids. Yeah, I've seen a lot of bad shit. Well, that's way different than a gore video because those gore videos, you don't know the people, you've never seen them talk or anything like that. It's completely different when you have a public figure that you've seen before speak, and that happens. So it's not even about it gore necessarily. It's about the individual. It kind of makes it significantly worse. That's the way that I view it. Because you could see some really messed up shit with gore, but that's actually worse than the really messed up shit because, you know, it's like you have a relationship with Charlie Kirk, at least from the internet and stuff. And so you never expect to see something like that with a figure that large. PBD, self-serving weasel. He did nothing. Why was there not structured time segments? I mean, that would make it way better. It would make it easier. Video was honestly fucked. Oh, it was terrible. You know, the first video that I'm sure you guys know the videos I'm talking about. The first video I saw was the faraway angle, and it kind of looked like he had just been blown away, but then the second video I saw was the one, and it was really bad. You never saw the video and plan on keeping it that way? Yeah, I just have like morbid curiosity. It was liberals who say he was a podcaster are so retarded. Oh yeah, and I've debunked that 100 times. They do it to minimize the action. Kirk and his mobilization efforts. There's nobody on the left that's comparable to the amount of people he got to register to vote at his events, the relationships he had within the Republican Party, the fact that he was only 31. But they just do that because you look at liberals in general, and it's almost like you have to do a video on it. This ideology, it allows them to celebrate people who say words that they don't like getting murdered. Their ideology allows that because it's like they place those words on such a high pedestal. And so it becomes this insane totalitarian hive mind. I mean, that type of ideology needs to be eradicated from the United States. If you celebrate Charlie Kirk being assassinated because you think he was saying mean words that had an impact somehow, so that's a reason to assassinate him. We're not going to allow that in the country. And that's what a lot of these liberals believe. That's their belief system. The further left-wing ones, but a lot of the ones that are just involved in politics in general, a lot of these moderate liberals, they don't even really follow politics. liberals that are follow politics, a lot of them, I don't want to say 50%, but a lot of them approved of the Kirk assassination 100%. The ones that are like, oh, it's actually no, we don't want to do that. That's like the ones that don't really follow politics on social media. I mean, they all support that type of, or a lot of them support that type of stuff. You were confused? Yeah, I don't even remember what my initial reaction was. I mean, I remember it was a sunny day. It was a sunny day. It was the afternoon. I was actually doing a video, but then I stopped halfway through doing a video, and I was gonna start again at some point, but it was like 30 minutes went by. I was looking on social media, and yeah, that's when I saw it. I'm not interested in listening to Ian Carroll again, honestly. That's another one. I'm just not interested. You had moderate liberal friends getting mad at you when you said Kirk's death was a bad thing. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to study that so many of them supported that. And it's also funny how the mainstream didn't even touch it. You know, they didn't even talk about it, that so many of the left supported it. It's because the establishment left denounced it. So it's like, well, technically the liberals don't support violence. But a lot of the people on social media that vote for liberals supported it outwardly. Andrew Wilson choked. I mean, I think the problem is if you're Andrew Wilson going into that debate, you have to know she's going to filibuster. So you're going to have to bring up the fact that she's grifted the hell out of this and it's a horrible thing. And I'll bring up the real clownish. I don't even know if he brought up some of the really clownish conspiracies that she believes. I mean, she says the same thing. That's my opinion or whatever. And I guess that's her way of getting around it. Do you think Hassan should be imprisoned? I was listening to someone earlier today, and this is true. Hassan is an exact representation of everything wrong with modern America. Would you marry a woman with multiple kids from multiple men? That's. Yeah. I prefer she. No, I don't want her to have any kids. You got into a debate with someone, they brought up the fact that Trump does the same stuff. What, like celebrating? Yeah, but that's the thing is there's nobody on the left that's even comparable to Kirk that's been killed. So that you have to hammer them on that. Like it's just a false equivalency in terms of how important Kirk was as a political figure relative to whoever the fuck Trump celebrated dying. Like it's a false equivalency. Candace lost badly? Not really. I mean, I think she should have lost, and you could argue she lost, but it was just a lot of talking around each other. She doesn't have the evidence, but she just says, well, it's my opinion. Right, the multiple men. Honestly, that is the most unattractive thing. If you have, children, and it just is as a guy. I mean, there's no question about it. It's just a major turnoff. I mean, obviously, it depends how old the people are. If you're way older, that's different. But she talked 80% of the time. Well, yeah, that's because they didn't have timed segments. You give Wilson a minute, you give her a minute, and then maybe they. But the thing is, when you do this thing where they just talk back and forth, they don't really interrupt each other much, which I guess is good. But then it just becomes this thing where they just she just talks about random shit to make the time go by. And then PBD gets in on the act and's like, dude, what are you even talking about? This doesn't even matter for the context of the debate. But even like, the question, and they're like, that's a great question. It's like, what type of evidence would have to be presented to, allow Candace Owens to believe this? I mean, why not just, they literally said, people said they saw the video of Tyler Robinson shooting Candace Owens. Was that even brought up? People in the courtroom apparently were shown that video. So is the case solved now? I mean, did she answer to that? Thoughts on Trump bragging today about getting prescription drugs so low? I don't know. I mean, it's good with the Trump RX if they're able to do that. I don't know. The healthcare is a mess. I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah, they've called Trump. I mean, think about if Trump. I mean, do I even have to say anything about the prospect of Trump being assassinated? What liberals would do? I mean, we don't even have to say anything about that. It's impossible to have faith in Trump at this point. Trump's made some tough, bad decisions. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. He's made some errors for sure. And maybe, there is things behind the scenes and he has to do it. I don't know, man. He does seem like he's just completely out of touch at this point. He's very old. You got a notification from Fox that Trump is claiming the Strait is now U.S. territory. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure what he's talking about. He's saying that the Strait of Hormuz is U.S. territory. How are you going to administer over that? He's just he's just saying random stuff. It feels like I'm not sure. I don't even know what he's saying. The Strait is going to be U.S. territory based on what? We're gonna keep a military presence. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything would happen. Well, I mean, there'd be a lot that would happen, obviously, with if Trump got assassinated, but I don't know if the right would really do anything crazy. I mean, they would just it would just be blamed on Iran, very likely. It depends on the circumstance, though. Zooty. What do you mean? YouTube nuked me? You voted for Trump 3 times and you're disappointed? Your MAGA friends get pissed and tell you he's a 9 or 10 out of 10 second term. Well, I think there's some clear problems with the second term, but I mean, they probably will talk about the deportations, and I mean, up until recently, the economy was doing really well. Not that the economy really matters. I mean, the economy can technically keep doing well with the cost of things being what it is. It doesn't really matter. Young people are really not going to see the benefit from that, so it's just going to be a constant struggle. Don't see your vids anymore. Used to get them recommended. Yeah, that happens. I don't know. I don't think that's YouTube nuking me. I mean, that just happens. Basically, probably like during the midterms, you'll get recommended. That's normally what happens. You have to find like a spike, and then it starts recommending them. You think the second term is a 7 out of 10? Yeah, I mean, I would say previously it was like a 7 out of 10, but then I've ceded ground on it because you try and be objective on the problems, and I mean, relative to a Democrat, if I mean, you have to say it's better because of the immigration. Do you think the birth rate is a major problem? Well, the birth rate's been a problem for a while, and yeah, I think the loss of religion is really affecting the birth rate. People don't want to have families anymore. They don't want to sacrifice anything when they're young, so it becomes a problem. That's why a bunch of these women are saying they can have kids into their 40s, because they do realize they need the child because it's the motherly instinct, and it's the hormones coming out eventually, and many of them end up wanting a family. They just have to get there. Trump spends way too much time signaling. Yeah, 100%. But it's also like there's just a lot of political capital that gets expended by Trump, and I feel like a president working more covertly is better than what Trump has done, where it's like everything makes liberals mad, and you could accomplish a lot more and potentially gain and consolidate a lot of power by being less overtly obnoxious. Yeah, I would consider myself Christian. Next press secretary, I don't think they want I think they want Levitt back, and maybe she'll come back. I don't know. Other than that, I mean, I saw some of the list. Who knows? Do you like rum or whiskey? Right now, neither. I'm really not good with those type of. I'm really not good with those type of drinks, honestly. Do you think vote red no matter who? Well, I think in general, yeah, you should vote red. It's better, even if the Republican. But I also understand, there are circumstances where, based on the political headwinds, a liberal in may end up indirectly helping Republicans long term. I mean, it's strategically you would always want to vote red, but again, I think individually maybe there are some candidates that are just so bad that it doesn't make sense. You're considering voting in the America First Party if they have a strong candidate? Well, I mean, their candidate is either going to be Tucker Carlson or Thomas Massie, probably, if they end up having a party. I don't think they're going to, though. What's happening to the Ohio governor's race? It's basically 50-50. It's 50-50. Maybe Amy Acton has a slight advantage, but it's too early to tell. I don't. I haven't watched TV in so long. I think Vivek has a big advantage. He's spending a lot of money. He started his ad campaign back in like January or some shit for like the general here. He is spending, and they had mentioned that he was beginning a massive ad rollout. He's spending a lot of money. Thoughts on Tucker? Is he just pandering? I mean, I think some of it's sincere about him learning that, he supported the Middle Eastern wars, but now he's against them. But Tucker is just, to me, not a serious political figure because he wants to ally with some of these liberals. And this is the problem when you become so anti-Israel. a lot of your supporters or the people that agree with you, they're far leftists. You cannot ally with those people. He's falling into a very obvious trap of allying with the worst of the worst, at least when it comes to a white male political perspective in America. Yeah, those are not your friends. You don't want to ally with them just because you think the country has this Israel problem. And that's what these minorities do. They use Israel to further their own agenda, because the white people wake up, they say, well, Israel shouldn't control our country, but then it's all Muslims that agree, and then they're like, well, we should come together. And it just doesn't work. Do you think if the Dems win big in Iowa in the midterms, that Iowa will be a possible swing state? Well, that would be a big problem if they won big. Like, if they won by 8 points in Iowa, that'd be a big problem. Maybe. Hopefully not, though. I mean, we're kind of, you got to be counting on Iowa to be a Republican state. I know Iowa they thought was going to be a swing state in 2016 and 2020, but Iowa's a Republican state. They don't get enough migration to turn that state. I mean, maybe in a bad midterm year for Republicans, but not a general election. Dude, come on. There's no way you're saying that. You're saying 2028 is going to be the most batshit insane election we've ever seen. You understand they say that about literally every election? How many times do you think they said that about 2024? And every time they said it, I just cringed, because it's like, they just say this about every election. This is going to be the craziest one. The next one's going to be the craziest one. You know, they just say it about every election. Yeah, there's a few different websites. A lot of the websites are not good. Real Clear Politics is probably the best one. 538. They probably got a liberal fucking website. 538. A lot of these websites use terrible polls. They're all liberal polls. It destroys the aggregate because it's all liberal. All these polls have been pro-liberal though recently. I think they're overestimating Democrats right now. I mean, yeah, I do agree that they're going to have to be anti-Israel for sure. Well, at least the Democrats are going to be more. They're going to be more the anti-Israel people. Atta gay. Muhammad Atta. Those are just rumors. I don't think those are substantiated. Muhammad Atta being gay. No, I don't think that's legitimate from what I remember.
I want to just directly ask you is, do you actually believe that anybody in TPUSA or Erica Kirk or Erica actually participated, had foreknowledge of, or facilitated the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I'm not going to get myself into a legal pickle here.
Oh my
Everything
God!
I said is on my podcast. I think,
Guys, hey, if you're out there saying it's clear Erica or TPUSA did it, guess what?
If I
Candace won't say it.
I would seat them all.
So either she doesn't know or she's a coward and you need a better champion. So all the people out there with YouTube channels, and it's done. It's done now. Your theories she won't back up because she says she won't get an illegal pickle. She doesn't have the courage that you do on your X profile or Instagram or YouTube channel with 50,000 subscribers.
So this is what we get for $300,000. She won't answer a fucking question that she's been talking about and insinuating for months. Oh, that Turning Point USA is involved. I'm going to drop the big bomb. I have intel. Now we pay you $300,000. Go ahead and debate. And she won't talk about it. This is just, what a waste of time. What is the live stream title about? It's about this debate. I was talking about it earlier. It's about this bad debate that happened about Charlie Kirk assassination. She doesn't want to be sued. No, she's wrong, and she's just using that as a cover. She doesn't want to be sued. Yeah, because she's wrong. But she wants to hint at it and make a bunch of money off her live streams by saying it, doesn't she? And use people like you as useful idiots. How much did he pay for the debate? $300,000, apparently. She said Turning Point USA betrayed Charlie, but you don't understand. She has the intel. She's going to tell all the wine moms tomorrow. We just have to watch. And then when she gets questioned about it, well, I'm not at liberty to say. You think if Candace wants us to take her seriously, she should stop doing it for money? Well, that'll never happen. She needs to just be honest about it and just... Because this...
You said you had some new evidence at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah, we should
you had
show that
something
text
new.
message that you
Did
read,
you
just
wanna
because
share
I
that?
think that's important for the public. You shared it out of context,
I'll do it on my show. I'll share the text
so you're going to
message.
read it on my show, but not show it.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll show it on my show, but that's what I'll do. I'll show it on my.
Can
show.
I ask why?
Well, because I want to drip out the evidence. You know, that's got to drip out that evidence. Keep people coming back for the show, right?
I don't know if snark serves you so well.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'll release it there. Yeah, that's my intention.
I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know what the text message is. PBD used to be great entertainment 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, well, they used to have on, there were some good PBD podcasts when they would have on liberals, and it would just be like this constant just rage session where they would rage at each other. There were a few really good PBD podcasts, but there hasn't been many in a while. France and Israel were involved. France is involved? I didn't hear that the French were involved in assassinating Charlie Kirk.
I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
Okay.
I also
Involvement.
now have-
I understand.
Yeah.
So you
That's-
think you with full confidence you think that
Yeah, I think
that
Israel's
France
involved.
and Israel.
Yeah, I mean, the person that gave me that thing that I reported said that French Foreign Legion were on the ground that day.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this would be at a professional limitation for me to then go and probe that information that I handed over. I can't do that. I'm not
But
the
you
United
don't have
States
any
government.
positive evidence of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Right?
Liz, I don't. Can you just stop? It's actually just like annoying to hear you keep saying positive evidence. I've just asked me what I think, and I just tell you, yes, I think they are
that's
involved.
a claim.
No, I said here's what I think.
I have every right
think-
to ask you about your claim.
Yeah, but
and if there's
I said,
positive evidence
in
for
this
your
statement,
claim.
I literally just said I think, and I am allowed to think. And
Yeah,
you
you're
keep
allowed to
saying,
think,
do you have
but you're making
positive
a
evidence?
claim.
I have tons of positive evidence that I'm allowed to think. Yes.
I agree. You're allowed to think.
Okay, so-
Nobody's disputing whether or not
Yeah, but
Candace
like
Owens is
you're-
allowed to
you're-
think. What
you're-
I'm asking is
but
you have
what's your issue then?
positive
What is your issue with the statement?
evidence.
I think
Uh-huh.
that Israel is involved.
That's
I
not
do.
what. That's not just what you said. You said
I did
that
say I
it's with
think.
it's with full confidence.
Yes.
You would
I
think that if you had full
can you have confidence
confidence,
to think when you think?
if I said, for instance, I think I'm going to be late to work, right, with full confidence, I would say my evidence for that is that I'm 20 minutes away and I need to be there in 5.
Andrew.
That's how you would know whether or not you had full
I'm just gonna
confidence.
tell you something.
Hang on,
My sis-
let me finish.
Sure.
Let me finish.
The problem is she won't actually substantiate any of the evidence she has. She just says, I'm not going to tell you who told me this. So she bases claims off of things that are not provable.
If it was the case that I said I have full confidence I'm going to be late to work, I would say my evidence that I'm going to be is that work is 20 minutes away, right? And I have to be there in 5. So I have full confidence. That's why I would think that. So I'm asking, if you think that Israel and France were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you say with full confidence, I'm just asking for the evidence, or at least walk me through the mindset of why it is that you could think that with
I actually
evidence.
don't have to walk you through why I think. I can give you something that I think with full confidence. I think with full confidence that you lost the substance of this debate, and now you're moving toward things that I have said that I think, which I can do. I'm
They're
allowed to think
pertinent
that.
to this debate.
Actually, would you like to?
That's the entire point of the debate, is because you've been saying batshit crazy things and nobody can question you on them because they're just on your show.
Remind him of what our debate claims actually were.
And would you like to remind you said I could ask you about any of these things
I
to my
said
heart's
feel
content?
free, but you do not get to structure how I'm allowed to reply or ask me
I'm
why
not
are you allowed
structuring
to
how you're
think.
allowed to reply. I'm just asking you direct questions.
I have full confidence that you do not feel that you represented your claim well. And so now what you came
That's
prepared
nice.
to
I just
do is
wanna
to
know-
present yourself like a professor of
I
fallacies.
just want to know.
And to say, you're not allowed to say that. You can't. It's
You
my
can say
podcast.
whatever you want.
Well,
Nobody's
I said
disputing that.
It
I'm
It
asking-
seems like you are disputing
I'm
it.
asking
I think that
specifically
when this
why
is
you
all
think
said
that.
and done, I've already explained to you. I explained at the beginning of this why I think Israel is ultimately going
France.
to be proven to have involvement in this. I just explained to you in the middle, and now you're wanting me to structure the sentence or provide evidence. You don't have to. You're just allowed to think. And I've explained to you my thought process. I don't need to structure it in a sentence. If you feel like a professor today, you picked the wrong day.
Don't you think that like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people would want to know what Candace Owens' positive evidence for why it is
No, I
that
don't-
Israel and France were involved in the most traumatic public assassination of Gen Z's lifetime is?
That's why they watch my podcast.
So you're just going to drip to them?
That's why they watch your podcast. But does her podcast even have anything of substance? I mean, wouldn't we? I mean, I think we would know if she had evidence. She doesn't have any evidence. Zooty. She's just spamming the quick chat buttons. You got so many ads on the PBD pod. I would never, dude. I would never get those type of ads. You gotta get premium. But yeah, how much money did they make off of that? I mean, all of them. Well, I guess just Candace. The twitchy foot. Yeah, well, you know what? When you're sitting as a guy, I do understand the cross sitting. It is comfortable when you're in a chair like that, but you kind of have to sit up because of the microphone. So it is one of those things. It's like, do you just spread your legs or just do you do the cross? Do you think PBD did? I don't think PBD did a good job. PBD, there was no structure. It was the debate was just them talking past each other the entire time. You got to have them on timers. That's the only way you move these debates along and you keep it entertaining. Yeah, 100%. She'll just keep grifting. Well, now they'll be even more empowered because she gets out of this. And I was saying going into it, it was going to solve nothing. And I really wasn't looking forward to it because this is exactly what I thought would have happened. Rogan would be like, what? Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If Rogan would moderate it, I don't really know what Rogan would do, but I mean, there would maybe at least be some more entertainment. So yeah. Oh, this is it right here.
We're bringing the prices way down. Look at what's happening, coming way down. And after we finish defeating Iran, which is being very badly defeated, pretty soon I'll be declaring the Hormuz Strait a territory of the United States. Essentially, that's what it is. We have the blockade. We're bringing the...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that. They're trying. He's trying to get a win. He's trying to add territory to the U.S. Just get Greenland. You can add territory. Just get Greenland. They're not going to be able to claim. They're going to try and claim the strait. They're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to keep the strait. People are cheering. Yeah, it's like, what are you even talking about, man? He's like, it's true. He should just declare victory, leave, and then just go try and get Greenland. But the Euros are even worse. The Euros are even worse. They've got an even more sour attitude. The Euros are obsessed with Trump. Yeah, I think Trump may not be joking. I think he wants to try and declare the Strait of Hormuz as a U.S. territory. Just like the Panama Canal. When he tried to say that the Panama Canal was a U.S. territory, but it's not going to happen. We're out of interceptors. Really, our $1 trillion budget is out. Useless. Or just go around. Yeah, they'll probably just smack Cuba around to try and show their try and show their military might after what happened in Iran. Just go and smack Cuba around just after the Venezuelan raid. You go on any EU country subreddit, the top posts have to do with Trump or the US. Yeah, there is something that Trump really just... I was even thinking about it. It's like the obsession that people have with Trump. And I'm not even saying this as a Republican or conservative, but it is unhealthy. It transcends country lines. Liberals in Europe are obsessed with Trump. But I mean, even in the United States, the obsession really reached a boiling point during that renovation to the reflecting pool. That's when it was like, okay, it's like Trump has to get a restraining order against some of these people. This obsession these people have with Trump, it's really it's gone from, okay, you don't like him politically, to now there's like a personal level obsession, and it's really bad. We can't take Greenland. They might try and crash the US dollar. What are they going to do? They're not going to do shit. I'm so tired of these people talking to, like, just take the island. I don't know. It's like 1,000 people. It's like 5 people. They're like, well, you can't take it. There's like 1 person on the island. Yeah. Really? Just take it. I mean, in 10 years, people won't even remember. It's like this big international incident. There's 57,000 people. My suburban city here has more people than Greenland does. They act like it's this horrible crisis. Why do you think China has not moved on Taiwan? Because they don't have the amount of total control that they want. Because Taiwan is a powerful country for how small they are. If we want more control over the oil market, why not just control Venezuela? Yeah, but even if you had control over all the Venezuelan oil, there's still 10 to 15% of it flow through that strait. It doesn't even matter. And the oil it's affected by a global, it's affected globally, so it's gonna go up no matter what, no matter how much oil we have control of. Is JD Vance DOA? Yeah, I've seen a big push for JD Vance, if it means anything to people, but there's a lot of Republicans now heavily pushing JD Vance. I think it's pretty clear that people have been told that JD Vance is going to be he's going to be the Trump guy in 2028. Not that anyone should be surprised, but Rubio will either be the VP or he's not going to run. Well, I think he's not going to run against Vance, but he'll either just stay in the administration, I guess, or be Vance's VP. But they're really zoning in on picking Vance to be the choice in 2028. And Vance is going to have to try and defend this Iran war, and we'll see what he does. We'll see how well he can do it. It's a tough task. Someone not connected to Trump, you want them to run? Yeah, there will be someone. I don't know who it is yet. They're probing people, but they'll definitely be. And I'm not sure if someone out of the Tucker ilk will come out and run. That's always a possibility. But there's going to be somebody that's more nationalist, more anti-Israel, but also in a sense anti-Trump. And I don't think that person is going to win. I just think the coalition is too strong for MAGA for that person to win. So I would say Vance would win. But, Vance is probably going to get outflanked on these debates because he's going to have to defend the administration. And that's always a tough position to be in. Like the Republican primary debates. It depends if there is a candidate like that. Yeah, Trump is definitely not fascist. And if you studied history, you would not say that. That's just a retarded thing to say. I think Vivek, it's 50-50. So we'll see how well he can. So he's going to dump a bunch of money into it, though. Bannon is not a serious candidate. I mean, I know there's the thought that Steve Bannon's going to run and maybe he'll try and get on the debate stage. He's not a serious candidate, though. I don't think he's that type of candidate. I don't really believe that. Vance versus AOC. I'm still not convinced it's going to be AOC. I don't think it's going to be AOC. She's peaking too early, like Newsom. But, I mean, they want someone younger. Maybe she fits the mold. How old is she? Like 40? $37. Massey independent. I don't like Massey. What's the point of Massey running as an independent? It would just take Republican vote. It's a joke. You think Massey's going to get any liberal vote? It's not going to happen. Ossoff, yeah, maybe. I've heard some things about Ossoff. You think Newsom is going to be the next president, unfortunately? Honestly, Newsom is positioned pretty well. He may be too establishment at this point. I don't know. I'm not sure how the voting in the Democratic primaries will work in terms of how left they've become. Because he might be too establishment at this point. Wes Moore can easily take the nomination. Yeah, I think Wes Moore's another one. But he keeps saying he doesn't want it, and who knows? He might change his mind. Yeah, I heard about that. That's insane. Trump was selling early access to his tweets for $100,000. Heading to the gym to listen to me in the steam room. I know you always say that. I mean, I appreciate it, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, realistically, man, you got to understand, if Trump were actually a legitimate fascist, why would he listen to the Supreme Court? Why wouldn't he just dissolve the Supreme Court? And for that, you know, in terms of that, just Congress in general. I mean, I don't think you understand political terms. You know, when you call everything fascist or everything racist, the actual meaning of the word gets devalued and it doesn't mean anything anymore. So you're actually doing a disservice to the word if you really hate the ideology. Like, why would Trump obey that Supreme Court ruling that said he had to give back $120 billion? You would just consolidate power and disobey the Supreme Court. You think Fuentes is a high net worth individual? Yeah, I don't know how much money he has, but multiple millions. Yeah, but that doesn't even make sense. If they were like stupid fascists, they would still try and consolidate power. Do you think we could pay off national debt by taking over Venezuela? Taking the oil fields as government land? Yeah, I don't know, honestly, man. To me, the only way you're gonna pay that off is you gotta somehow lower the welfare state, which nobody wants to do. But we just have so much welfare and insane amount of entitlements in this country relative to our tax income. Well, fascism and socialism, I mean, it's all about control. Yeah, they're both control, but they're not the same thing. They're very different. To say they're the same thing is dishonest. Like communism versus fascism. But they have similarities because they both require significant governmental control. Do you think some of the Democratic primaries in 2028 will be close between the establishment and DSA, kind of like the Michigan senator primary? Yeah, but who's their candidate? That's the question. I don't disagree with you. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if the establishment picks a candidate, they're going to have to play ball with the DSA. It's going to have to be somebody that's like in between or can bridge the gap between the establishment and the DSA. If the DSA seriously has that amount of power to where when you have these controlled Democratic primaries, they're getting like 45% of the vote. I think the Supreme Court has the potential to be meaningless in the future. And the way that happens is if they pack it. And I honestly don't think the Democrats will do it. I know that's a fear-mongering. Republicans say, well, they're going to pack everything. It's going to fuck everything up. I don't think they're going to do it. But the authority of the Supreme Court would go away completely if the Democrats packed it. That's why nobody can really do it, even though, now it's in the Republicans' control. I think they might hope for a few deaths. If the Democrats get control again, then they can maybe anoint their own people, their own liberal justices. I mean, that is insane. Like, the idea that Trump is a fascist, that's the thing I was thinking about. It's like, Trump ran on deportations because we let in 10 million people. We've deported 600K. Like, what are we even talking about? And some of it is just the way the U.S. political system is. I mean, you would have to erode everything. There's so many checks and balances. You can't concentrate power. But, like, that's insane. I mean, letting in 10 million people and nobody bats an eye, but you deport 600K and you're a fascist? Do you think we could solve violent crimes by deporting every violent criminal to Somalia? Yeah, that I'm sure that would help significantly. I honestly don't know about the 600K number. I was actually using a number higher than that, then they revised it down, I think. Yeah, but I mean, Mamdani, I think he got lucky with it being a very liberal area. I mean, the reason he won was because New York City is like 70% liberal, let's be honest. So it was easier for him. If it's not concentrated to a very liberal city, he would have lost to Cuomo 100%. Would you learn another language? I'm not even sure which. I mean, I guess Spanish would be the best to learn where in the United States, but do you think the deportations are going to ramp up after the midterms? There's not a lot of confidence, honestly. I mean, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll have a little bit because, you don't have to worry about an election, but, I wonder how many of the, the deportations may become harder with the Senate being controlled by or not, the House being controlled by the Democrats. Why is everyone calling the situation with Iran a war? Well, the amount of time, money invested, what has there been, 15 U.S. casualties? Nowadays, anytime there's casualties and it's gone on for this long and the U.S. has invested a significant armament, you're going to call it a war. Dude, the thing is, if I didn't call it a war, it would just be basically just a joke. Like, it doesn't even matter if I think it's a war or not. If people are calling it a war and the public interprets it as a war, me not calling it a war is just cope. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen to Russia after Putin. The debate being the biggest non-election debate. Yeah, it obviously was not very good, but
And finally, we will pass the Save America Act to defend our sacred American elections. Because all voters must have photo ID, and all voters must provide proof of citizenship.
Why aren't you at the bar tonight picking up chicks? Because it's not the 1980s. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get GTA 6, but I'm not gonna play it very much. I'm not a big gamer, but I'll see the map. The map, it's an entertaining game. It was an argument, not a debate. Do you think Republicans should have nuked the filibuster? If you're going to nuke the filibuster, they should have done it immediately. Now it's like it's too late to do it. Because you're potentially going to lose the control of one of the chambers if now it's too late to do it almost. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, people care about troops dying in the sense that it's propagandized. Obviously it's bad when anyone dies, but it's going to be propagandized against the administration. That's going to be part of it, and that's going to be part of. But yeah, you're right. The more thing that impacts people directly is gas prices. You used to be into gaming when you were younger. Yeah, I was more into gaming, but not to any crazy degree.
Do you think he was shot?
I do not think that Charlie was shot from a 30-06 from
yeah,
low
but just
C.
shot at all.
I don't know. I think that a projectile hit Charlie, and I'm open to other people's presentations, but I have not seen any compelling evidence that Charlie was shot by a 30-06.
So you're not sure if he was actually shot. You're open to alternative theories.
He was definitely hit with a projectile of some description. If we're talking about was he shot from a gun, a 30-06, I would say definitively no.
Okay.
It defies common sense to think that he had a Superman neck.
So at least not a 30-06.
Definitively not a
Okay,
30-06
but you
from
are
low C,
open-
150 feet. No,
But you're not necessarily closing off the avenue that he could have been shot at all.
with maybe a smaller.
Smaller caliber. Okay.
The shoe. Come on, man. You're putting the shoe in at the end. Bro's hair is looking it's looking a little messy. What's a story about questioning the gun used to kill Kirk? Don't worry about it. Maybe if PBD was in the back rooms, it would have gotten a higher rating from me. It would have been a nice twist. It would have improved the movie. 30-06 would blow his neck apart, not put a little hole. Bullshit. You're a ballistics expert? Wow, you must be really smart. I know, that's what I say about the deer. I don't understand how no one has even questioned that. You see videos of deer getting hit with 30-06 and nothing happens to them. They just fall. You know, I just... Like, these people think they know exactly, they're like God on ballistics, and they know exactly how bullets behave when they impact. I mean, I've seen a deer get hit with a 30-06 and nothing happens. People think it'd be like, boy, you would believe it'd be a nuclear explosion with what these people say about a 30-06. The deer is bigger than 180 pound man's neck. It depends where you hit the deer. With the white demographic replacement stuff, to be honest, you think another AH leader is going to make a comeback? Well, I think you're going to get left-wing, you're going to get really far left-wing socialism, then you're going to get far right-wing nationalism. I mean, it is kind of like a matter of time, maybe, for that. But it may take Republicans losing in 28, unfortunately. But I don't even know if it would happen after that. It's hard to predict these things this far out. Thoughts on the tick in the South that's causing people to not be able to eat a red meat? I heard about that in the spring. So, yeah, that's terrible. I don't even know how that happens. People say it's like engineered. That is a real tick. I think it's rare though. There's all these ticks now, it's crazy. A lot of people getting Lyme's disease. The only way we get fascism is if there's sadly a white Mexican alliance. Yeah, I don't even know about that. It's just terrible. Because there's too many white liberals. Yeah, it's not even different, dude. I mean, why would they even lie about it being a 30-06? It doesn't even make sense, man. Like, people just argue things for the dumbest reasons. I don't think they know why they're arguing it. Like, so they're gonna lie about a 30-06. Why? Wouldn't that just add more to the conspiracy? The grift. I mean, I don't think a nuclear apocalypse is good because there would be too many areas that have radiation problems. So I think it'd be hard for the country, or not even for humanity to recover from that. I mean, the atmosphere would be like hazed out, so it'd be a problem. I don't think we're at the point to where that's, it's just not. In the US, we still do have a relatively good living situation, although you could say it's getting worse, but election betting video? I don't think a betting video. Yes, I have shot a gun. You don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, Will Kane used to be with ESPN. You said deers are bigger than humans. I never said they're bigger than humans, but they are comparable. Oh no, he's the one that said deers are bigger than humans. Yeah. But I mean, listen, this is the problem. You've got people that just believe conspiracies because it's fun and they want to be right. It just doesn't make any sense for them to lie about that. It's just nonsense. I never even gave Trump a 7 out of 10. I gave him a 5 out of 10. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're going to DC and you want places to visit? Uh, depends how long depends how far you can go. I mean, depends if you're going to other states. Trump's inflation of 2.5 to 3.9. Yeah, I didn't even know inflation went up by 1.5. It's not terrible. No, the inflation is not terrible, but unfortunately, people are just going to use it to fearmonger, and because the inflation has been horrible since 2020, and people they want 2020 prices back. They're not going to get it. Yeah, I mean, it's just the menorah. He claimed he would bring them down. Every president does.
Okay, what else do I have to say?
Family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long? Are you worried
No,
about
no,
mental
no.
health?
Not nearly long enough. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, inflation at 2.5% is not terrible. It's unfortunate though with that war now it's at 4%. That's why they're talking about raising rates. But I don't think they're going to. I mean, how many we got a lot of people that get visas and shit, dude. We give out visas like fucking hotcakes in this country. Actually, I think it may be hard to get a visa. It doesn't matter though. Yeah, I did see that rally for Andrew Tate. I don't know if you can get a visa. I have no clue how that system works. Are you from Peru? Is that what you're talking about? Well, you can fight inflation in general, but the problem is when when the cost of things goes up to the point where it's noticeable in a fast amount of time. Candace Owens was trying to take a victory lap that she won. These people are just so shameless. I mean, come on. She won. She literally just said, I can't give you the information. It's secret. I can't give you the evidence. You're the guy from Peru? Oh, then that was someone else. Okay. Who's worse, Candace Owens or Hassan Piker? Piker. Prices really aren't that crazy. You're not struggling at all. Well, maybe you make a nice wage because you won't really feel it. Well, PBD gets a cut because he could play his shoe commercial. You're from Peru, but you already have U.S. citizenship, birthright. How'd you get birthright citizenship? Were you just born here and then moved to Peru? If prices aren't affecting you, you're not in the middle class. Yeah, I mean, it's things have definitely. It is just like the housing prices are crazy. I'll be honest. The housing prices do irritate me. Your parents were on. You're trolling. You said your parents were on vacation. That's how you got the birthright citizenship. Yeah, that's the 14th Amendment. Well, I mean, at least he's honest. Yeah. Yeah, but you can see as an American citizen how the birthright citizenship is problematic. I mean, I'm sure you love America and, but it's never going to change. Right, I mean, you have the Supreme Court 6-3 conservative, they won't even vote to change it. Swedish anchor babies. We used to get a lot of great immigration in the 1900s, 1800s, all European immigration. The composition of the country has just changed completely from how we were previously built. You agree the Mexicans are very bad people, they must be deported to Mexico? Well, I mean, we've accepted a lot of immigrants, and it might be a naivety of the country, but it's been really out of control. Yeah, Ohio's not a bad place. I mean, there's nothing really bad about Ohio. Ohio's really it's green. It's got all 4 seasons. I don't know what people make a big deal about Ohio. It's like, what about Indiana? I mean, I just don't really see the difference. What about Pennsylvania? You're Mexican, but you're more based on half the people in the chat. Yeah, but didn't you want to debate me on not deporting people? How can you be more based? You do agree birthright citizenship is very bad for countries, but you have it, America. So yeah, I mean, no, I do understand that take. Honestly, if I'm thinking you're trolling me. You got to be trolling me. Peruvian DG fan. It's got to be a troll. I'm not gonna take that seriously because it's too rhetorical now, and I should have known after that Mexican comment. That's your alt account. Well, I'm not. I mean, it's your alt account, whatever. But come on. Remember the guy who got furious with you over immigration to Japan? Well, I think he was claiming that black people got treated really well in Japan. I said they're more racist in Japan than they are in the United States by a long shot. I think that's actually what it was. You know, that was a while ago. I do remember that. Yeah, you can vaguely remember these characters that come into the chat for a few days and then, but like that dude was probably a year ago or so. It was only like a few days. Do you think Ohio is too overpriced? Ohio is one of the most affordable states. It's not like the South affordable. The housing is more than that, but Ohio is probably like the 7th or 8th most affordable state overall, I would say. You want me to? I mean, listen. Maybe you're not a troll. I don't know, but it is kind of like you literally just spelled out the exact problem we have with tourist immigrant or tourist. What is it? Birth tourism. You just spelled out that exact problem, and then it's like, yeah, this is kind of an issue. Then you're like, all Mexicans need to be deported, but it's just, it doesn't seem legitimate. Majority of illegals are good people. In what way? Not building a society. But this is the problem with the immigration, man. We have a country, you know, historically we're a white country. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Why are we obligated to change our country's demographics? I don't understand that concept. It just, are we not a sovereign country? Like, if you look at the immigration history of the United States, why do we have to change our demographics? What is the value in doing that when obviously you want to maintain cultural cohesion? Well, I mean, we're way past that with all the major cities and the demographics. It's not even worth talking about. But just the concept of it. I mean, I believe it's an. You know what, man? I believe you. It's all right. I believe you. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's just the problem is just the way the country was built, and if you change the composition after the country becomes extremely successful, well, you're really risking it, and you're risking cultural cohesion. And I mean, it doesn't even matter now because, you know, it's changed to the point where it's. I mean, I don't know, just the current system not really reversible. You can get married and buy a house, start a family here, dual income with 2 modest salaries to make enough to get by. In Ohio, yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, you just got to go through the ringer of, college and all that stuff. And I know a lot of people do complain about the situation with college and not being able to get a job, or I don't know how, I mean, I guess that's real and it's not good, but I don't know. Everyone that I know, it seems like they go to college, they pretty much, you're on auto lock to get a job. I'm not going to say, because I know people complain that they don't get a job, but from what I've seen, a lot of people, you normally get a decent job after college, as long as you get a degree. Maybe it depends on where you're from, though. The competition probably depends. In Ohio, maybe there's not a lot of competition. Columbus, Ohio, with all the immigrants and student visas. That's the thing. I've heard, they're giving out these student visas, or they had been giving out the student visas like crazy. I think Trump put a stop to it, or at least limited it significantly. We literally elected Trump to fix these issues. Yeah, I know Trump, unfortunately, just wasted all of his political capital on the Iran war. Maybe not all of it, but a lot of it. And you had a problem with the illegals that came under Biden, where they got everything handed to them. Meanwhile, I know people that came in the 90s illegally but worked hard for theirs. Yeah, it's not even that we want to, it's not that they're not hard workers. It's just that our country is, it's like, you'd think they could be hard workers in their own country, because we have to have people in our country and our native people that need those jobs. And if they're not going to have those jobs, we're going to have to innovate. That's the other thing that's pretty insane, where they say, well, what about all these people doing the low-skilled jobs? I mean, the thing that the United States is going to have to do, if we actually deported all these people, and it's not going to happen, but if we deported all these people, we have to be able to innovate and produce things, whether it's through AI or whatever, to be able to handle this low-skill labor. So if you deport these people, it actually spurs innovation. And it's like the North versus the South, when the South still had slaves, but the North was so much more advanced, and they went through the Industrial Revolution. They didn't rely on cheap, free labor. So think about that. But it's like, we're just gonna have to innovate anyways. I mean, I don't know. I think Americans will do the jobs. They just have to pay them more. And less people, there's going to be less housing competition, so maybe it'll even out, even if things cost more. I know a lot of these construction sites have just been, the work is very shoddy. Iran is holding out for 2028 to make a deal with the Democrats. I mean, Iran is probably holding out, yeah, as long as possible. They're holding out as long as possible. And why wouldn't they? They just gain leverage every day they hold out. Yeah, but I don't think that Trump would let that happen. I think Trump's going to hit him hard after the midterms. I mean, maybe they still sustain it, or maybe they're able to be coaxed into a deal if they get hit hard enough in infrastructure. And the thing is, Trump's going to hit them. It's going to it's just going to skyrocket the price of gas again. But he's probably going to commit to another serious hit, if I had to guess. Because what is his legacy at this point in the Middle East? He's going to have to do something with Iran. Yeah, you're trolling now. You're registered in Florida. Yeah, go ahead and vote for... Byron Donalds. No, I'm not a fan of Donalds. Go ahead and vote for Fishback. Have you ever done a video about the Great Cleveland Balloon Disaster? I know of it. Everybody knows of it. in Ohio, but no, I never did a video on it. Yeah, it was a bit of a miscalculation. Cleveland's got a lot of very nice architecture in our city, but it's very dilapidated. You think the algorithm f's with your channel? I think there was a problem because I deleted some videos, and maybe that I think that did something to it. I don't think it was necessarily, anything with. I don't think YouTube would censor me. I don't say enough things that are that bad to even be. I don't think YouTube really censors anymore, honestly. In general, I just think they have to be kind of more free because Twitter's free. I haven't really heard about much censorship on YouTube unless you're really like an actual legit nationalist. Then yeah, they will step in. Why doesn't this administration debank the illegals? That was one of the first things we talked about. They said they constitutionally cannot do that. That was the thought, that they were going to debank them, and or there'd be a 50% remittance, and they can't even get a 10% remittance. They debanked Fuentes. I mean, I don't know. You'd have to ask Fuentes, but he's a citizen. I don't know what the deal is with why they can't debank the illegals. Constitution applies for illegals. Well, that's the that they use an argument based on like persons or whatever. Certain things don't specify in terms of rights, so technically it applies to everyone. I don't know, because I remember people talking about the fact that they should just debank the illegals and then they would have to leave. The lemon tree incident. I had a horrific upbringing. Oh yeah, that was a bad one. That was a tough. That was a lot to process. I used to go to a therapist when I was like 18 years old. I don't think as a guy going to therapy, it doesn't really do much. Unfortunately, that's what you kind of learn. You were arguing with someone in the chat, not you. Okay. Yeah, it's not a big deal. Only time therapy works for men is anger management therapy. I mean, I guess it depends on the personality type, to be fair. But women, I feel like, benefit 10 times more than men, like, with therapy settings. Although, I don't know, people say that's self-sabotaging towards women. It depends. You just needed long hikes. Yeah, walking is really good. Walking is really good. Walking in the morning especially is really good. Yeah, but it's not even about, whether or not, and that's really the thing. It really isn't even necessarily about whether or not illegals would be conservatives or not, but it's just not the country. That's not what our country is. That's not what our country was. That type of immigration. So we don't even want, and the other thing is, people are banking on Hispanics to vote like they voted in 2024. There's no way they're going to do that again. There's just no way. You joining the college football pool? Do I have to email someone or something? 5-mile runs. Any type of strenuous workout at the end of it, you will feel better. Greg Bavino may end up running. No, I think Greg Bavino doesn't like the administration anymore or something. He always talks about it. But Greg Bavino might be one of these types where he's, more of a hard ass and criticizes the administration. He was like putting together a pact or something, I heard. You just text him you're joining your team name and then send it to his Venmo. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if you're a MAGA Latino and you have family that's illegal, I'm not sure why you would vote for Trump. I mean, that seems pretty risky. Florida's getting redder. Yeah, Florida, it continues to get redder. Because they're not really getting a ton of immigration anymore in state or state-to-state migration. So I think they're going to just stabilize as a pretty Republican state. More Republican than Texas, possibly. I guess it's easier for people from California to just settle in Austin than in Florida, so it's kind of an added component. Yeah, Ron DeSantis was a good governor, but I don't really think it would be I don't think he's going to be the nominee for the Republicans. Favorite state you've been to? Well, I did have a nice vacation in Florida, but these are all like a while ago, man. I mean, I think Chicago's a really nice city, but I went 10 years ago, so maybe it's changed a bit. Colorado, I mean, Colorado's great with the mountains. I'm not a big fan of the altitude, though. Thoughts on Thomas Massey? I don't really like Thomas Massey. The new weed laws in Texas, even though you agree is horrible PR. What does it even matter? I mean, PR, who cares? I mean, listen, the thing is with weed, and I'm sure the government knows, and but it's like you got to get it. There's no cities. The cities are not going to be smelling like weed. We're not doing this. So you're going to have to make it harder for people to. There's going to have to be stricter policies against it. Have you guys heard the story? I don't know what the lady's name is, but this woman killed her 3 kids, and apparently she said it's postpartum depression and she's trying to get out of it. And there's all these women on TikTok now that she's going through her trial. They're defending her and they're saying, I don't know if she's innocent, but like she should go to some facility or something. and she's trying to use the insanity plea or something. But they proved it was premeditated because she told the husband to go out to the store so she could be alone with the kids. Luigi Mangione pleaded guilty. Yeah, he's a coward. Of course he pleaded guilty. He wants some type of better deal. But of course he was guilty. I mean, they said, "Oh no, it was someone else. Look at his unibrow." Well, I'm just saying, I don't like the smell of weed in a city. I mean, it's not going to be allowed. You know, there's no public area that's going to smell like weed. The law doesn't do anything for it. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to, it's all going to have to be criminalized. I mean, we can't deal with the smell of weed in cities. It's horrible. Seattle smells like weed every few blocks. It's just Democrat leadership. They just decriminalize everything and then the city smells like shit. I mean, you can't do that. You fundamentally cannot do that. Do you think sports betting should be limited to in person and not on phones? Yeah, sports betting's a big one. It's you know, it's an issue for people, man. It really is. And I mean, you think about what Kalshi, Polymarket now, just betting in general. It's become so normalized. I don't know the exact damage it does, but it's very addicting for a lot of young men. But not me. I'm like crypto, so it's kind of like that, but Rogan was saying this is great. Joe Rogan was saying he thinks weed laws could turn the state blue. So Joe Rogan, a California transplant, comes to Texas and says, if you don't have a liberal marijuana laws, you're going to turn the state blue. This is the problem with these people from California. Who does Joe Rogan think he is coming into Texas and saying that shit about how conservative the state is? And yeah, they're not going to want every block in Austin to smell like weed. So they try and put laws to prevent it. They should be stricter. People are telling me they're not strict enough. You hate Barstool, their entire shtick is to get college-age kids. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's really destructive, that type of stuff. But that's like the male version of like the sororities with the females, the frats with the guys, Saturdays are for the boys. It's really destructive behavior. It's self-destructive behavior. It's not good for young men. Aren't most buildings no smoking in general? It's not the buildings. It's not the buildings. You go out walking in a major city outside, it smells like weed. That's the problem. The outside smells like it. The city blocks. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on the composition of the populace. I mean, there's some places, I guess, weed could be legalized and it wouldn't smell like it, but it's very rare, especially in inner cities. Tennessee banned THCA. Do you agree more with Fuentes or Tim Pool? On what? Just in general, or what topic? You're fine with edibles, dude. People got to be careful with edibles. Edibles are way more potent. It depends the way you digest them, but your body wiring has a lot to do with how you handle edibles. But they're explosive. But yeah, they don't smell. I mean, that's the positive. You say in general? Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen a lot of Tim Pool recently. I'd probably say Fuentes though. But I don't know. I mean, Tim Pool, I guess, is more establishment, but I feel like Tim Pool has kind of gone more to the right. But I don't know. Tim Pool, his talking cadence, it got annoying to me, the way he talks. I'm sorry, it did. Like, he has this specific cadence that I was picking up on, and it got annoying, and I really stopped watching him. Yeah, edibles, I've had bad experiences with edibles because my body is not wired properly for them. You smoke weed, it does nothing, or I mean, maybe it makes you a little high, but yeah, edibles are just because it involves digestion, and it really depends on the person, though. It's a lot different it's just chemical makeup. Just ban public weed smoking. Yeah, but I'm not even sure if that'll do anything if there's like remnants of it. Because weed gets if it's in your car, it gets everywhere. It smells really bad in your car for a while. It's like cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. Just because you smoke it once doesn't mean you smoke. I don't like weed. You passed out. Yeah, that's the thing is the edibles, they'll alter your state, and they like break a fourth wall in terms of your cognitive function, or like your ability to perceive time. That's what people talk about with DMT. They go crazy about it. Your ability to perceive time is completely eliminated. You enjoyed Adderall? I've never had Adderall. What's your take on the Luigi case? He's guilty. He admitted guilt. So he's going to have to do a life sentence. He's going to try and get like 20 years to life. Watch. That's why he admitted. Are you going to do an Aaron Rodgers style DMT? No, I'm not doing anything on DMT. Degenerative state? Yeah, because it's like seen as freedom, that's why. But I know what you're saying. Compare all immigrants who have the respect, common sense, learn from their mistakes, causes the least trouble, nonviolent, unless needed. Korean Americans, Japanese Americans, Taiwanese Americans. That's a good list. Thoughts on What is Dallas Fort Worth Muslim? There's problems with Texas. Texas has accepted a lot of Muslim immigration, and there's like cohorts within the state. Vietnamese and Filipinos are good. There's just not a lot of them. We don't get a lot of immigrants from there compared to Latin America. Stimulant stronger than caffeine but weaker than Adderall. Wow. Yeah, maybe that's a happy medium.
Hey, everybody, this is Vice President J.D. Vance. I'm here with my friends and colleagues, of course, our great Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Admiral Brian Christine, the Assistant Secretary for Health. Parents bring their children to doctors because they trust them. They trust doctors to tell them the truth, and they trust hospitals to put their children ahead of ideology and profit. But when that trust gets violated, parents deserve to have a government that will stand up for them and for their kids and do something about it.
If I do the call-in stream, I'm going to want people that I know from the chat, because you're going to get someone, saying some stuff that's, I have to know you from the chat to be able to do that. It can't just be a random person, I was thinking about that. Yeah, it needs like a screen. It needs like a screener. I mean, I just need people to add their. I just need people to add their username to the Zoom or whatever. Yeah, but that's not hard to. It's not hard to fix because you just have everyone muted. I mute everyone except one person. But if it's a random person, yeah, you just don't know what they're gonna say. Call-in stream won't work. It'll work because I know a lot of people from the chat. They're not gonna be trolls, but then you get random people. It's it becomes a problem. Yeah, I'll put it to where there's no cameras. No cameras, and everyone comes in muted, and then I unmute people. You think Discord is better? Just let one person in at a time? Yeah, I know that we did have something like that, but I didn't know how to work it. There was like a waiting room. We do have something like that on my Discord, I know that. Looks maxing tier list? I don't even know the terminology. What's the difference between a troll comment and a funny comment? I mean, not that it's more so like when you say certain words that could be problematic for YouTube. I don't really care about trolls necessarily if it's funny enough. I mean, I think it'll depend how many people are in the queue. You know, how many people, how much time I can spend on with someone talking. Zoom is easier to use, more people have it. I didn't even have Zoom until, I mean, technically everyone has Zoom if you have like a Google account. You just sign in through your Google account. But I never use Zoom because I don't really have a job like that. Except maybe like a few times for advertisements or something. I used Zoom. Oh no, it was for my my taxes. Yeah, that's the thing is I was out of school when that Zoom shit was huge. The COVID stuff. I made it out of school in 2018, so 2018 I graduated. Dream ticket for 2028, you mean? I don't know if I have a dream ticket right now. Yeah, I know so many people use Zoom a lot for work. It's very convenient. Are you a full-time YouTuber? I never asked. Yeah, I am right now. Although we'll see what happens with football season. I think I'll be able to make more money. Try and get into Notre Dame if you can. You know, a lot of those, even Ohio State's harder to get into now. They up the standards. It's really easy to get in if you transfer, though. Transfer credits, you get in real easy. Trump did not do a thing in crypto. Yeah, but crypto is just 4-year cycle. I mean, Trump's effect on it. I mean, I don't think he helped it, but it's like the 4-year cycle is going to happen with or without Trump. It's just maybe he muted the gains a little bit. Public money to fund stadiums. I mean, listen, it should be mostly private. I do think stadiums do help cities, but it should be mostly private money. I don't know if it should be 100%, but you can transfer anywhere after your first year, regardless of grades. You think, and yeah, dude, but isn't that just like how does that work? That doesn't seem like it should be a thing. Is like if you're a bad high school student, you get into like a low tier school, you can just go to a grade school after a year. It doesn't make sense to me. It can't be true. But I mean, I was hearing that basically 2 years you could get into a really good school, like, and I still didn't really understand it. Are you psyched that Ohio is getting a WNBA team? Yeah, I don't really. I don't know about that. I don't watch that. Yeah, that's a good girl to have. You know, they're rare nowadays. Conservative. You're transferring to North Carolina. North Carolina is a good academic school. You don't think colleges report transfers as admissions, so it allows them to pocket tuition without affecting their acceptance rate? Yeah, but then don't you just get to say, technically, I went to Notre Dame even though I transferred from a shitty school? I mean, that seems like that would be the obvious play. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that with Ivy League schools, let's be honest. Imagine you do it with an Ivy League. Well, but then you got to pay. You got to pay up the tuition for that. I think pretty much everyone that gets into Ivy, they do so, and it's like already paid. There's like a scholarship involved. Matt Gaetz wants to debate Mark Levin. I don't know who that is, Matt Gaetz. Now, Kirk would not run for... No, Kirk would not be able to run in 28. And I don't even think it'd be worth it. He's too young anyways. You don't run right when you're 35. Hopefully you did plumbing a year out of high school, so it works well with your plan. You're transferring to A&M, 2.9 GPA, construction management. Yeah, the only thing with like transferring to a good school, the tuition's probably more. But I mean, it is worth it. I mean, getting a degree from a good school, it is just for your resume. It's for your status, honestly. It helps with your status with women. But it could also help you get maybe a slightly better job. It depends what field you're going into, though. In Ivy League, they come find you most of the time because you are truly exceptional in IQ compared to your peers most of the time. Yeah, I mean, you kind of know. It's very easy to get into Chapel Hill. Well, I guess it's very easy to get into a lot of good schools if you just community. Yeah, I mean, community college is the easiest way in terms of cost efficient. Dream school. I didn't even do. I mean, I'd have to think about it. I don't really have a dream school. Do you think Florida is significantly underrated? I know, but the problem with Florida is they have all this talent every year. I know they got a new coach, but they always have the talent every year, and then they lose 6 games. You think we're headed for a recession? I don't know. I mean, recessions are, they lower inflation. No, I mean, recessions are not good, obviously, but it's not like debilitating. Thoughts on Hong losing? It's brutal. That would have been a big advantage for Republicans in that governor's race. You can go to the military, say you need disability. Yeah, that's the big thing with Caleb Hammer. The military disability, it's a huge problem, and it's like nobody wants to call out veterans. But that's becoming a big problem where people are gaming the system in terms of them being veterans and they're on disability. and they're making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month on disability from retiring after like a year of service and things like that. And, you know, if the system is gamed like that, I mean, you're going to have to eliminate it. You're going to have to audit it or something. I mean, but nobody wants to do it because it's like veterans and stuff. But I know Caleb Hammer has had problems with those people, and they've been going after him because he does that show and the audit, and so many of those people are on like faulty claims of government assistance. Is the title reference to the Candace Wilson debate? Yeah. I've never been to LA. You need a minimum of 3 years of service to start receiving disability from the VA. But even 3 years, that doesn't seem like that long. That's less than high school. I mean, 3 years to receive. I mean, and what is the... People are going to game a system if they can game it. Do you ever watch Young Turks and a Kasparian? They keep popping up on my algorithm. No, I haven't had them on my algorithm in a long time. You know, they're anti-Israel leftists, very vehemently anti-Israel. Your buddy is getting disability for fucking depression. Well, what is it? What is his like monthly payout, do you think? Yeah, that's you know, that's where it becomes a big problem. Because like, how do you prove that? That's something you literally can't prove. So he's getting a monthly payout for that? Well, they're going to have to do something to Social Security. They're going to have to grandfather it out because they're not going to be able. People are just going to have to be responsible with their money, and they can do things. It's like you can do a de facto Social Security with people to allow them to invest into a certain account, and it's the same thing basically. Instead of them getting taxed, their money just goes into an account. I mean, that's the new Social Security. It's like a 401k. I mean, what's the big difference? I mean, as long as you are working or you're making revenue in some way, you're putting money away, by the time you're 65, I mean, you know, you should have enough money by then. I guess they just don't trust people with money. So that's why people need a nest egg. They need a monthly payment. $1,800 a month. Yeah, that. I mean, that's tough, man. Like $1,800 in tax dollars for that. Yeah, I mean, what do you even? It's just like a daily bonus for him. But I mean, I get people have depression and stuff, but you know, the VA, it's been problems with that. Social Security food stamps, much bigger problem than VA. Well, it encompasses a lot more in terms of the scope of the cost with entitlements for sure. Social Security and food stamps, I think, are like two of the top three or whatever. In terms of entitlement spending, SNAP benefits. Trump cut off a lot of the SNAP benefits, at least some of them. You know, they're like, this stuff that's on SNAP, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's like, it's like a Bermuda Triangle. Somebody's on SNAP, and then they get to buy junk food for free, and then obviously they're not going to have health care that's going to have to be funded for them. But honestly, I don't even get how... When I had to get my health care, I came off my mom's plan. For me, it cost me $250 a month. And it's like, all right, whatever, I get it, you know. But they said, well, people that make under $35K, it costs them $0. So I'm like, well, isn't that free healthcare? It's like people are complaining about it. I was like, well, then how do they have free healthcare? They're complaining about it. And I get it's like, well, if you go to the emergency room, you're not covered and stuff. I guess that's what it is. I mean, honestly, I do understand like public doctors, it's not good. Public doctors, yeah, that's unfortunate. Cuz I've had like this private practice that my family's been involved with, like this doctor who sees people in the area, but it's a private practice. You don't go to like the general hospital or anything. It's a better setup than that. But that's going to be going away from me. SNAP and Great Social Program introduced. Yeah, 100%, and they become dependent on the government, and that's the big problem with when you look at taxpayer positive versus negative by demographic. It's a huge difference in terms of the welfare state. Did you see Trump say we'll annex the Strait of Hormuz? Yeah, I think he's just joking. I don't know how you do that. You don't think sports betting should be legal? Well, I don't know if it should be illegal. I think that might be a little... I mean, people have to control themselves. At a certain point, there has to be agency. With something like sports betting, I don't know if it's destructive enough to say, oh, we have to make it illegal for people. Are you under your parents or your own? No, I'm under my own healthcare for about a year. At 26, it cuts off. But yeah, dude, like, a lot of us white people, we do the same thing. You know, our parents have decent enough jobs, pretty good benefits. We just stay on our parents' plan until we're 26. They cut you off when you turn 26 years old. If you don't know that. So then that's when you have to pay up. But most people just transfer. See, I have an abnormal job, so I have to pay a bit, which I'll pay. I mean, it's fucking healthcare. You kind of need it. So I have to pay a few $100s a month, unfortunately, but you know, if I can get the healthcare through 26, I mean, that's pretty good. And then I'll pay my fair share. Yeah, if you got 100% coverage, that's a jackpot. It depends, I'm sure, on your income and everything like that with qualifications. Do you have life insurance? It's probably tied into the healthcare I have, I guess. Everyone's supposed to have a job for healthcare. The system cannot continue. If you do have a decent enough job, you should get really good healthcare benefits, or decent enough. They shouldn't be allowed to advertise gambling. I think there definitely should be laws against certain ways they advertise gambling. It's way too overt, so it needs to be more concealed than it is now. The problem is now gambling is basically the culture of sports, and so it's so intertwined because the amount that FanDuel and whatever the other sports books are, what they're paying. Do you think MLB compromise with PA is harder? Luxury tax, maybe 2 layers paired with floor. Yeah, I think that they need a salary cap. Now, maybe the players will play hardball, and there'll be games missed. The NHL went through something similar where they had a really ugly lockout. They ended up getting a cap. I think they're going to try and go for a cap. And if they don't get it, I guess it is going to be some type of strengthened luxury tax, but it's not as good. You got healthcare through your job. And that's a lot of it with healthcare. I mean, you will get, if you have a decent job, like a decent normie job, you should get a pretty good healthcare plan that's covered by your insurer. And honestly, you're like part of a group, and like I know my mom has amazing coverage. That's how I was able to get amazing coverage. I mean, I had coverage. I think my coverage is still really good because I have my own group now that I'm paying into with other people. But you're talking about a ER visit. It's a $75 copay, or maybe it's a $50 copay. That's insane coverage. It's like a SuperMed Pro Medical Mutual. You could work 30 hours at McDonald's to get healthcare. Yeah, I know. I think the problem is when you go to the ER, they price gouge the fuck out of people that even that have flimsy healthcare like that. But also you're seeing these public doctors, and that's a problem. These public doctors that have like 5,000 patients. That's the thing. I'm going to have to get a setup where I see a private practice, primary physician, and then they can really focus in on individual patients. And it probably costs a lot. You know, that was a family thing. How bad will MLB affected if lockout cancels the entire season? Oh, it'll be terrible. Yeah, it'll be terrible. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it'll definitely stunt the growth of the sport. Losing a season, you can't really exactly approximate. But, you know, they already lost basically an entire season in 2020. They're going to lose another one. I don't know if that's going to be the case. But it depends. I mean, the players are dug in, and maybe push comes to shove. And my guess is what could happen, there's an agreement in March. So then they push the season back to mid-April. But I think they're going to be like, we can't miss this revenue. We're going to go as long as possible in terms of negotiations, but at a certain point, we have to reach a deal because, you know, we risk missing the season or games. It's going to be a lot of lost revenue. It's crazy to think Starbucks gives everyone who works 20 hours a week 100% scholarship to ASU. What is ASU? You guys are telling me about some pretty lot of opportunity we have in this country that has very little barrier to entry. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but no, the MLB would not die, but it would be a big setback for the league. Arizona State. Yeah, but that's probably just in the area. Why don't MLB owners just import foreign players? Because they'd be worse. It'd be significantly worse. It wouldn't work. Yeah, baseball is definitely a good culture. They have a good thing going with like America's pastime and everything like that. And they've had good attendance. I mean, they've had really good attendance the past 2-3 years. Baseball has had like a crazy uptick in attendance numbers. I know that. You wish the geopolitical talk was about us acquiring Greenland instead of war in the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, it was for a second there. But I don't think we're going to get out of this war anytime soon. I mean, they're going to have to do something else at this point. They might just do Cuba with this war going on because it's just not ending. I mean, maybe Trump is enticed to end this war to focus on Cuba. That's the thing. There has to be so much money in America to where it's like, and I actually saw something that Gen Z is prioritizing these hustle jobs over, you know, the traditional 9 to 5. And technically you do these hustle jobs, you set your own hours, and you see people that make 6 figures doing these jobs. You do have to work your ass off, but there's zero barrier to entry and you set your own hours, and it's interesting to see. And it's like, well, yeah, if the country has this much money in it, you are going to have to, there's going to be these labor opportunities. There has to be. Do you like minor league baseball? You were pleasantly surprised. Yeah, minor league baseball has like a nice cult following, or it's kind of a fun thing. Minor league baseball. There's just so many teams. You've got single A, you've got high A, double A, triple A. There's like 4. There's actually, you've also got pro, like this, what is, maybe like pro league or something. I don't know what it's called, but below single A. I mean, this question, do I work out? I don't work out anymore, you know, but it's, I used to work out. I have a nice base, I guess. The Akron Rubber Ducks. I don't watch the Rubber Ducks. That's a typical minor league baseball team name, the Rubber Ducks. I actually think the name kind of grew on me. I actually like the name Rubber Ducks over Guardians. I'm not even kidding. They used to be called the Akron Arrows. I remember when I was younger. Then they changed their name to the Rubber Ducks, and I don't mind the Rubber Ducks. What are you eating? I just eat one meal a day. I just eat like pretty healthy, like Chick-fil-A or Culver's. Yeah, I miss the Indians as well. The Indians that's a great team name. The Indians got taken out by wokeism. Indians was a casualty of woke when you think about it, and now that woke was destroyed, you'd think that they would change it back, but they're not going to. It really is sad. It's the same thing that happened with Redskins. Yeah, I guess the Arrows name was better, but you know they want to do like that. The minor league teams started doing that shit where they just named them like weird ass things. Yeah, you know, I used to just eat, I used to cook my own chicken and just eat straight chicken. You saying fast food every day? I wouldn't. I mean, maybe now. Minor league baseball helps so many smaller cities build a nice family-oriented bars and restaurants in the area. Oh. Just chicken, no rice. No rice. No rice. No carbs. If I have too many carbs, man, I'm gonna get zits. I'm one of those people. Steak only good once every 1 to 2 months, because it's such a strong flavor. It gets annoying. Nah, I don't think I'll. I mean, the thing is I just don't eat a lot. That's it's just something about me. At least the past 4 or 5 years, I've kind of just stayed 150 pounds. I actually got down to 137, and I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. Will we acquire Greenland? I don't think so. They're not going to bomb North Korea because North Korea has a nuke. I think Mahomes, I don't know if he's overrated, but I don't think he's, you can't have this many average years middle of your career and be the GOAT. He just can't go down as the GOAT. It's just, unless he starts ramping it up again. What time do you eat your one meal? Really, like 11 a.m. I just wake up hungry. So I have to eat, man, like at 11 a.m. Yeah, like I was watching that debate and eating. Because I just wake up hungry. 2,000 calories a day is plenty. Yeah, it depends on it depends how tall you are. Depends your sex. Same thing happened to Brady, had a lull in the middle of his career. I don't know if it was like that. Maybe. Yeah, and like using Super Bowls, I don't know about using Super Bowls. I more so use MVPs because that's a whole season put together. Super Bowls, it's more fluky in the playoffs. So that's why I love Peyton Manning. I like Peyton Manning a lot, and people don't like him. And I mean, I think Peyton Manning, he definitely had a better individual season than Tom Brady's ever had. Your maintenance calories is 3K. What are you, like 6'5"? What sports did you play in high school? Just baseball. Six two 205. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", 150. Aaron Rodgers rip Fauci. I didn't see that. Oh, I did see it. He said I played the fifth. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you like the live stream down below. And I will see you guys another time.